Hi, my name is Jared Christensen, and this presentation will highlight some of the main points from my topic brief paper that was titled Laws Concerning Video Surveillance in Public Schools. I chose this topic because there seems to be more and more talk about putting surveillance cameras in schools. I was also interested in the laws concerning cell phone surveillance by students. Cell phones now, because of technology, have become very small physical size, and it makes them very easy for students to conceal them and secretly record while in school, and I wanted to look at the laws concerning that as well. And first off, I wanted to know what the state law was concerning the legality of surveillance recordings. And I found two separate statutes that relate to video recordings. And the first statute, 77-23A-4, says it's legal, that being video surveillance is legal, when at least one participant has consented to the recording and there's no criminal intent in making the recording. So if one of the parties is aware that the video is recording, then under Utah state law it's illegal. So that would mean if a student had a cell phone in the classroom and they were aware that they were taking the video, well, that's one party, so it would be considered legal. And so that was the first statute. The second statute was 76-9-402, and it says that there's to be no surveillance in private places where one has a reasonable expectation of privacy. And that would be in schools like locker rooms, bathrooms, or changing rooms, anywhere there's a legal or expectation to privacy. And so those were the two state laws that I found that relate to the legality of video surveillance. And next I wanted to know and take a look at what school district policy was concerning video surveillance. And I found that many school districts have similar policies that restrict students and staff from using video surveillance without first permission, and then secondly, they must have prior approval to do so. And I also found that many school districts have a policy that states that students' cell phones must be turned off while at school, and that means at any time at school. And this was a little bit surprising because as a teacher, I just have noticed it's not really enforced, even though that's a school district policy. And next I wanted to research some court cases that involve video surveillance and see how the courts have ruled in respect to students covertly recording while in the classroom. And one case that was particularly relevant was a case called Rakua v. Kent, and this happened in 2007. A student, in this case, was using his cell phone to secretly record his teacher while in class. He then took all of his video recordings that he'd made in the class and edited them and added music, and he posted the final version to YouTube. And the video was highly critical of his teacher and contained many inappropriate comments and material. When school administration became aware of the YouTube posting, the student was suspended by the school. This resulted in the student then suing the school district on claims that they violated his First Amendment right of freedom of speech. In the ruling on this, the court ruled that in favor of the school district on grounds that the student was violating a school district policy by even using his cell phone in the classroom. However, the judge did make a point of saying that students do have the right to critique teachers, and it is their freedom of speech. They just have to do it in a way that is appropriate. To determine how prevalent cell phone use was in my school, and I teach at Desert Hills High School in Washington County School District, for my field activity I conducted a student survey with the questions that you can see here on this page. I would like to touch on a couple of them for this presentation. The first question stated, have you ever used your cell phone in a classroom without teacher permission? And as you can see, the response, 98% of those that were surveyed had used their cell phone without teacher permission while in school. This wasn't really a surprise to me because I could see, almost everyone has a cell phone and they're using it in the school, even though it is against Washington County School District policy to have your cell phone on at school. The second question on the survey was kind of surprising to me. The question states, have you ever taken video recording without teacher permission with your cell phone while in class? And it was surprising to me that most had, even though it's 55% of the students responding had taken video in class without the teacher permission. So I knew students were using their cell phones, I just didn't know they were using it to record video in the classroom without teacher permission. So that was an interesting find from this survey. And finally, I'd like to share with you some of my conclusions from my topic brief paper. My first conclusion was that students using their cell phones to covertly record while in the classroom is legal under Utah state law, but most likely it's against school district policy. So there is a bit of a disconnect between Utah state law and school district policy. My second conclusion was that almost all students are using cell phones in schools, and most are recording videos. And again, this is even though they're doing these things even though it's against school district policy. My last conclusion was that some school districts are now considering using surveillance cameras inside the classroom. A lot of school districts right now are using them in the hallways to monitor what's going on in the hallways and parking lots. But this is kind of a new area of discussion about using them inside the classroom, and it will be interesting to see how this whole topic evolves and whether or not school districts actually will put them in the classroom. But it was an interesting topic for me. This concludes my presentation on my topic brief paper. Thank you.